Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Friday the 11th of February 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon we bring you the 5 news items that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, markets. The S&P ASX 200 closed today down 1%, providing a pretty soggy ending really to what was otherwise a good week. The bourse finished at 7,217 points. That's up about 1.5% this week, but still 3% below where it started the year. Tech stocks were easily the worst performers today, led by Xero, which dropped 4.5%. Real estate investment trusts also did poorly. Now, both of those sectors are valued in relation to interest rates, and the prospect of higher rates is bad for valuations. The materials companies, led by the big miners, outperformed. Rio Tinto was up more than 3%, Fortescue 2.5%, and BHP 1.2%. Commonwealth Bank fell 2.3%, and CSL was down 1.7%. Some of the interest rate sensitive stocks also did poorly. Property giant Goodman fell 4%, and toll road group Transurban was off 2.5%. Unibail Rodamco Westfield, which is the European-based owner of shopping malls, all the old overseas Westfield malls, said things had begun to pick up for retailers and its share price jumped nearly 7%. That was the best of the day. Insurer IAG said it was set to start lifting premiums on its products after announcing a fall in profit. Its share price jumped 4.7%. The worst performer was IDP Education, down 7.6%. It's had a pretty good couple of weeks, so a bit of profit taking there. And buy now, pay later group Zipco fell another 7% today. The stock is off 80% from a year ago. Story number 2. The Reserve Bank boss Philip Lowe was in front of a parliamentary hearing today. He said it was plausible that interest rates in Australia could rise this year, but moving too early would hamper the employment market. Speaking just hours after figures in the US showed the highest inflation rate in 40 years, Dr. Lowe said financial markets could be in for a severe disruption, which in central bank speak is pretty ominous. Dr. Lowe said he was surprised by how strong the economy had performed and eventually would like to see the official cash rate at around 2.5%. Remember, it's currently 0.1%. Long way to go. Story number 3. Australia has passed the 52 million vaccinations mark, with the first Novavax doses administered today. Just shy of 96% of adult Australians have had their first dose, and 93.9% have had 2 doses. The case numbers continue to fall. There were less than 9,000 cases recorded in New South Wales today and 19 deaths. Victoria announced 8,500 cases and 13 deaths. The Federal Shadow Minister for Education and for Women, and one of the highest profile Labor members, Tanya Plibersek, also tweeted today that she had contracted COVID. Story number 4. The Australian is this afternoon reporting that Chinese spies sought to bankroll the campaigns of hand-picked New South Wales Labor candidates in the upcoming federal election in a plot foiled by ASIO. ASIO Director General Mike Burgess referred to the case earlier this week without identifying the political party involved or the nation behind the plot. The Australian says the case involved an attempt to subvert Labor's New South Wales federal pre-selection process last year. Federal Labor leader Anthony Albanese and Prime Minister Scott Morrison have both been briefed on the conspiracy. It follows comments in federal parliament yesterday by Defence Minister Peter Dutton that the Chinese Communist Party had chosen to support Labor in the upcoming federal election. And finally, story number 5 comes from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. More than 20% of businesses had staff unavailable for work due to COVID-19 related issues. Among large businesses, nearly 2/3 reported absences. It was mostly related to self-isolation or quarantine requirements rather than people actually having COVID. The crisis goes well beyond staff. Almost half of all businesses experienced supply chain disruptions last month. Incredible. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday the 11th of February 2022. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning for the Saturday edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.